A new Wordle puzzle is online. Click on the link to play.
Listening to the following video may give you clues. Please like and share the videos.
5 takeaways as Giannis Antetokounmpo Bucks hold off Celtics in Game 1. Game 1. Giannis Antetokounmpo and the Milwaukee Bucks come out on top, but will they be able to continue that winning streak? In this article, we look at the game's defense, Giannis Antetokounmpo's performance and Jason Tatum's fourth-quarter surge.
Jason Tatum had an ugly outing against the Celtics on Saturday.
The Bucks guard was held to only 10 points and shot a meager 4 of 19 from the field. In addition, he was held scoreless from three-point range.
His performance was a stark contrast to his postseason numbers. Before the series, he averaged 28.0 points and 7.2 assists per game and was shooting 44.0% from beyond the arc.
While this is a bleak performance on Tatum's part, he did manage to score a game-winning basket, but was otherwise quiet on offense. Holiday's physical play hurt the Celtics early, but the Bucks reacted quickly.
After Holiday's block on Antetokounmpo, the Celtics collapsed on him and he was held scoreless until the end of the third quarter. With the Celtics on a 4-0 run, Antetokounmpo roared back for 28 points, 9 rebounds, and 7 assists.
Ime Udoka had 5 takeaways as the Giannis Antetokounmpo-led Bucks held off the Celtics. Tatum forced another missed three-pointer and passed to Jrue Holiday for a layup.
Holiday finished with 8 points and 4 rebounds, and the Bucks held off the Celtics despite Jason Tatum's poor play. One of the key takeaways for Tatum was his lack of energy.
Tatum's inability to stay focused at the end result was a clear indication that the Celtics missed a golden opportunity to take a 2-game lead. If Milwaukee wins Game 4 on Monday, it will have a chance to take control of the series and put itself back in the driver's seat.
Another key takeaway is how Jason Tatum played the final 2 games against the Boston Celtics. In Game 3, he was passive.
Against Giannis Antetokounmpo, he was one of the Celtics' most talented players. Jason Tatum fought hard for the win, but the Celtics couldn't come back and make the game close.
With a Game 4, they will be facing the favored team in the NBA Finals, Giannis Antetokounmpo.
After a slow start, Giannis Antetokounmpo poured in 33 points in the second half and the Bucks held off the Celtics in 5 takeaways. They held off Boston's defense, but their biggest weakness is that they can't stop Antetokounmpo.
The Celtics doubled up Jason Tatum and Derek White on Antetokounmpo, and they didn't have much in the way of help. They also let him make the initial move in the post, and it was the Bucks' defense that stopped him.
The Bucks had most of the offensive weapons. They used 50.5% shooting to beat the Celtics, and Giannis Antetokounmpo and Jrue Holiday each scored 29 points.
Chris Middleton missed a triple-double and finished with 22 points. With this win, the Bucks have a half-game lead over the Celtics in the Eastern Conference, and they'll play on Sunday.
The Bucks' defense also held the Celtics to under 40% shooting, and Giannis Antetokounmpo scored 17 points off of own drives. He also hit 5 for 5 free throws.
The Bucks also took care of the ball on the fast break, where Antetokounmpo was dominant. And while the Celtics dominated the glass, the Bucks were able to keep them from scoring.
Despite their impressive offensive game, the Celtics struggled to get into a rhythm. The Bucks stifled Boston's three-point shooting, defending the rim, and challenging Antetokounmpo's three-point attempts.
Jaylen Brown drove and collapsed the defense and rewarded Antetokounmpo's smothering defense with a three-pointer off. Bucks remained in the game despite Marcus Smart's absence.
Jaylen Brown led the Celtics in the first quarter, scoring 17 points on 6 of 7 shooting. Jason Tatum chipped in with 2 points and 3 assists in the first quarter.
Giannis Antetokounmpo's performance improved after the break. The Bucks held off the Celtics in 5 takeaways, and now the playoffs are within reach.
Despite the lack of a traditional playmaker in the second half, the Celtics didn't worry about their lack of rim protectors. Instead, they slowed Antetokounmpo down by concentrating on keeping him from getting the ball back as a rollman.
Despite that, they still managed to hold off Antetokounmpo by scoring 6 straight points in the second quarter. Bucks defense.
Here are 5 takeaways from the Giannis Antetokounmpo Bucks win over the Celtics. Point 1.
Holiday never hurt the Bucks despite a rough game. The 6 off-minutes 10 shooting total was marred by 3 turnovers and 2 fouls.
Smart was also fouled when he wrestled with Wesley Matthews in the paint. The foul also cost him a basket, and he was called for a technical foul when he hit Smart with his right arm.
1. The Bucks were passive defensively.
They were slow to get their offensive game going after the All-Star break. Their defense was not good enough to slow Giannis down.
They needed to use their big men to slow down Giannis and create open shots.
The Bucks have to play the big man better. Giannis Antetokounmpo needs to be defended at his point of attack. The Bucks are missing a key player, Chris Middleton.
He sprained his left knee ligament in the opener. Holiday stepped in and played a larger role defensively.
Without Middleton, the Bucks would be hard-pressed to lock down the MVP candidate. Giannis has averaged 26 points, 11 rebounds, and 9.5 assists per game, but he has had off nights.
The Milwaukee Bucks suffocated the Boston Celtics, while Giannis Antetokounmpo struggled offensively. The Bucks stifled them. They also packed the paint and challenged the Celtics' three-point shooters.
In addition, Al Horford was a key cog in the Bucks' defense, scoring 14 points and dishing out 12 assists. The Celtics looked in control in the first half of Game 2, but the Milwaukee Bucks came back to take Game 2.
Boston's late run in the second half proved insignificant, and the Bucks are now even with the Celtics. As long as the turnovers continue, Boston can't beat the Bucks.
But they'll have to wait for the rest of Marcus Smart's injury to take revenge. Tatum. At the end of the first quarter, the Bucks led by as many as 5 points.
However, they were unable to sustain that lead and fell behind by 2. At 7:30, Jason Tatum missed a contested fast break layup.
Then Robert Williams tipped in a second put-back attempt for Boston. Boston Celtics fourth quarter surge.
The Giannis Antetokounmpo Bucks held off the Boston Celtics 98-91 in the fourth quarter, despite being outplayed by the favored Celtics. The Bucks had the lead with 2 minutes to go in the game, but the Celtics came back to tie the game at one point in the fourth quarter.
Antetokounmpo's 34-point performance helped the Bucks to their 6th consecutive victory. But Boston's defense was at its best in the fourth quarter, forcing the Bucks to foul Antetokounmpo on 4 occasions and forcing the Bucks to turn the ball over 3 times in the final period.
While it's tough to predict the outcome of every game, there are a few things that can be learned from the fourth quarter performance of the Bucks against the Celtics. First, there was a surprising shift in the Bucks' game plan.
After taking a 2-0 lead in the series, Coach Bud decided to trade Bobby Portis for Grayson Allen. Another adjustment was to go smaller and surround Giannis Antetokounmpo with more shooting.
Another key play was Holiday's three-pointer from the right wing. Holiday scored 14 points in the second half, and Browns blocked a jumper from the corner.
Holiday then hit a mid-range jumper, but the foul call was called as a rip-through. The Bucks were awarded 2 free throws instead of 3, which they made.
Eventually, Al Horford appeared to dip in a game-tying layup at the buzzer. Giannis Antetokounmpo made numerous impactful plays for the Bucks in this game.
His defense shut down the Celtics shooters and made life hard for them on offense. In addition to his stellar shooting, Antetokounmpo added 9 rebounds and 7 assists.
The Bucks are favored by the odds of Boston Celtics have gravel in their gut.
This isn't their best quarter, but they had to find a way to stay competitive. The Celtics had to change their game plan to keep up with the Bucks.
If they don't, they are in for a long night of grinding. But the Celtics can't afford to let this series end in Milwaukee.